Hello, hello. So,
So constant. So maybe wacht, open. Yeah, sorry, just opening the file. Yeah, maybe it was connected to something that I think I didn't it was about. So this application is about labor. I mean, it's not about labor, but it's
mm,
about obedience, right?
right,
Um, so then I was reflecting a bit on labor.
sure.
Basically, today, uh,
Ah,
Labor
yeah.
Day, then I thought, and wow, that since we are as artists, we blend this in such a ways that we don't know when the personal and when the work starts. Um, um, yeah, I was just trying to introduce this, no, that
Mm. Well, I was
is
like, wanted to share
yes, please.
something like in that, along that line. Basically, I mean, it's not directly about today, but more like yesterday. I had some, how to say, it was not a drama, but basically, so I have some content on a server that I'm running. So that's like related to like, you know, having like your own server and how can you like not rely on Google or like these big tech companies. So I kind of support this idea of like having your own server and host stuff, but then that comes with you know with a price that you have to maintain it yourself, and so that comes with the labor, obviously, and sometimes like you really have to. Well, basically the problem I had yesterday was that I completely forgot that this I'm using my professor's server and they are moving to another university, so they have to shut down the server at the end of April.
It shut
And
down completely.
yeah, it's still up, so it was not shut down, but they told me that it's gonna shut down. So, and I completely forgot about it until yesterday, and I had to move stuff, and that's like okay, for my content, I'm responsible for that or accountable for that. So whatever like website for myself is down, it's fine. I take that blame and I don't really care, to be honest. Like if it's down for one day, one week, it's fine. Like something is missing, it's okay. Then the whole
Mhm.
problem came when I noticed that there is a script that is running for a project that I I've been in touch with them to set up their own server, but it never happened. I mean, it is slowly happening, but not yet. So that's a big problem because that's not my project. And I didn't know that, but they have a presentation this month. So they're working on it right now. So they definitely need that server to run the script for their project, which is running
But you
on,
were, but
yeah,
then is a script that you were building for them?
I wrote and that's running every minute or something. And yeah, that has to run. That needs a server to run. And
Right. Yeah.
it's gonna be a problem if that is missing, then the whole website doesn't work if that script is not running.
So wait, I'm trying to understand. So they expect that that will be running.
Yes, what they see is the website, that they edit something and the website changes. That's what they
Ah,
see.
okay.
But in the backend, I mean, there is a backend and the
Yeah.
script has to be running. And that has
Yeah, of
been
course.
on my professor's server. So
Right.
I was telling them,
Wow.
this is not good. You need to set up your own server. And yeah, they just didn't take it serious. I mean, it is happening, but it's just taking so much time, and that's not cool because then
Yeah.
it's not like the website is down and I take the blame, but it's like it has to run for the project.
Mhm. Yeah. 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 I see.
Yeah. I mean, also like one of them was suggesting, okay, maybe we can rent something and we can move it there, but then like, yeah, but someone has to do that. It's not like you copy the script and it's done. You have to set it up properly with the web server and everything. So back end is like is really labor intensive, I have to say.
But that makes me think on there was something. I don't know in which context I heard this. We come back. I heard this idea that so within this, I might help you in these borders, right, of personal work relationships. That somebody was saying that they rather or get paid or don't get paid, and it's not.
Okay.
I mean, for because we are talking about like not really big project, let's say, but still it needs demands some labor, right? And it's almost like a favor. So I think it was about that you better don't get paid a little bit. I mean, or because sometimes it's like I don't know, like I offer you 100 euros of
Yeah,
which
I
is
do that
almost
too.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the better don't, then
Yeah.
you then both get they both ends they understand
Yeah.
I'm not paying you, so you cannot be accountable for something that life happens. And then when there is something that is paid, then you as the worker, then you be accountable for
Interesting.
something like that.
Yeah. I do it
Um,
I do it with like bit different intention. I mean, that's also one thing, and also like the other reason I sometimes do it for offer for free and not get paid little is that if you do it once, then they will expect that's your price. Then you know,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's about labor, right? But
Yeah.
if you do it for free, then you wouldn't they wouldn't ask every time for free.
No, no, of course
Yeah.
not. But this is interesting because this can we can start speaking, and that's interesting. Then how we can start maybe reusing, and I was thinking also the motion bank, the frameworks, because with Florian was clear, like I think he makes clear this idea that, and you can see it actually in the project that you can see now on the website, the links that they put, is that they are interested. I'm speaking more from the point of view of Florian, who in a way is like the architect of the system in a way, and the one who is leading this uh, development endeavors. Then they are interested in creative ways where dance and documentation and archiving processes of dance happen. So then you have the case of like Pina Bausch archives and other ones that are there listed. But what as Motion Bank, for what I understand, as Motion Bank is not interested is in being a system provider,
Mm.
meaning that we are interested then as in you come as Naoto Dance Company and you have a nice case of use for us to research, and there we said, okay, there is some we agree of some how I mean the payment or how big is how long is the framework, but we finish at some point and we give you the code, we give you also the rights, and we give you this package to you, and it's up to you what you do with that. because it's like a almost like a beta version that is more like a, I mean, trying to produce something that is providing you with a solution. But also, since normally we are not then doing the system provider, then it's not completely finished. Like is the case of Peacemaker.
Mm.
It's something that it has that possibility to for people to use and more explore and research topics of dance and documentation and dance, but it's not to provide to do these system providers. Then when I mean being accountable and responsible for all the things that happens when you run 200 projects, which each of them run 200 servers and so on.
Mm.
So it's more the idea that we create an initial solution for you, and it's up to you how professional, if you want to call it like this, you need that product to be afterwards.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's the interest. I mean, that's the research part, right? But scaling is like, well, it's another kind of research, but it's more like, you know, yeah, like a system
That's what
provider.
that's what
Yeah, yeah,
studios do then, because then we
yeah.
are not studio, we are research place.
Yeah.
And then we were then talking with them Florian in sometimes say, oh, okay, but what if we start creating the studio? And then oh no, because of different things.
Mm.
Meaning the main problem of not having a studio with Motion Bank is that we won't have enough clients to sustain the
Sure,
workers and
sure.
the framework as an independent studio who maybe will
Mm.
provide systems and so on. So because of that, then basically then we stay in the research area.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, like in my case, like it's a bit tricky that it has to work. I mean, that something had to be in the contract, like how long I'm maintaining this. I mean, this is will be in the upcoming contract, but the first one, I don't know how we framed it. Anyways, I don't want to say anything wrong while we are recording, but yeah, definitely like that's I mean that's the tricky thing with the backend because it's not like you create something and that's it. I mean, you could say that's it, but then you have to explain the risk that okay, this might not work like next month, because it's a backend.
But what is interesting, like then trying to extend this and this conversation and connecting this what we experienced in Lima,
Mm,
in that symposium of preservation of digital art, is that how to say this, like artworks. If we talk about artworks, so not design solutions, right, and
mm,
products, but artworks, they might and they might just have a, as anything in life, it just have a lifespan. And that's something that I was not, I mean, we mentioned, I guess it does was mentioned briefly in this meeting, I mean in this in this workshop time where Annie present her work. At some point somebody was speaking about this, but I didn't, I guess, reflect too much on this. But I heard in the other place, when in France with some people in this XR symposiums, somebody was going to that topic again, and then I was reflecting a little bit more from the point of view of the artist, actually,
mm,
because there was also this case of when they have to move artworks, which are art installations, like early art installations, to another location. And then because it changes, then also they change the medium. And so all this intertwined practicalities that must be taken into account for the artwork to work again. So
mm,
in terms of code, but also in terms of content also, as in digital content, but also in the formal shape of how it's presented. Um,
Mm.
So I think um the voice of the artist, it should I mean, I think it should be still very much in the contract somehow, like clearly defined. I mean, me as an artist, I think I would like to have the last decision of what happens, or I sell you all the credits, and then I know as an artist that you might do whatever you want with that code that you have and with the physical form of my artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like something I think I've been like thinking lately, like in a way before I was a bit more like a purist, that if that's like a code that's generating visuals or whatever, I think the code is it is the important part, right? Because it's generating like it's a source in source code. But now I feel like probably it's because of the practices we've been doing. Whatever we do, we should have videos because code, it's possible that, next day or after an hour, code doesn't work anymore. But if you have a video, at least you have a documentation, like video
Interesting. Wait,
recording of,
you're touching something interesting there. So what you said, like as a purist, you were saying that you said that
well,
coding is the important part.
I would say code. It's not coding. I mean,
Code. Yeah.
like the code
The code
itself.
is the important, the code itself is the important part.
Yeah.
And then in the case of best practices, then since that comes with such a much problem of the
Yeah.
code itself, to keep it pure,
I mean, at one
then
point I was like trying to record like all these like metadata,
we did it at
but
some point. Yeah.
yeah, I still have some, and I think it has its
Yeah.
use. But the thing is, like, we have videos, like that's kind of like the ground, because we record it as video, so it's in there. Something is in there.
So what are the videos then?
What are the videos? That's a good question,
Are the videos the documentation?
but they're not documentation, right? Documentation is something different. I think it's more like a Ouija.
Like a trace? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
could, I think, yeah.
because in Maestria, like at the Universidad Nacional, like for the presentation, for the performance, they ask students to bring all these traces as much as possible to exhibit. And I really like that idea because if the performance that is ephemeral, you need something to leave there, or you can trace what you've been doing. I mean, I also like connect that to the uh, Tatsumi Hijikata, Buto, one of the Buto founders, one of the three Buto founders, because everyone's so obsessed with him because he has a lot of things that he left, like scrapbooks and notebooks and stuff. And there's an archive of him.
Mm. Then, so what does this that we are saying it means? I mean, this tracing
I would say
for
like,
for the context that we are.
yeah, I mean, because you said about this, how to keep the artwork running. And to me, like, it's nice if it's working, but also like being future proof is like what Dragon was saying, all these, like encapsulated, like how to say, the instance, like idea that you can run old artworks. But that's also like labor intensive, right? I mean, in a way that someone has to build that. And as an artist, you can't do everything on your own. I mean, some people do it, but it's not a solution for everyone. And just recording video can be well, it's one of the solutions. I mean, it's a bit like degenerated,
A bit what?
degenerated, or like, I don't know, like it's not the artwork itself, but
Mhm.
why not?
Yeah, in that sense, I mean, it relates to dance and recording of dance, right?
Yeah. But then like that's like interesting part I wanted to like say is like if it's a document, like, so that's why like I don't say documentation. If it's a video documentation of net art or like media art, I actually don't like it. If it's like a video footage of, like something edited, because then it's a documentation. But if it's like random pieces of videos and all these artifacts, then it comes to back to the sense making, that it gives room for people to understand or making sense of that artwork. So it's not like a linear documentation where you try to get as much as possible from the video.
So how and wait, can you go back and this idea that you were saying with sense making?
Because if it's like fragmented videos, like not edited, for example, like best practices, we have like a bunch of videos. I mean, we have kind of showreel, but it's not like super well edited. And this gives like room for people to, yeah, build the idea of that work on their own, instead of like kind of like listening to a lecture and try to learn about the work.
Yeah. So it gives room for people to make sense
Yeah,
in their own term. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so but this is related to the practice, and then what about this what about this disobedience? What about this disobedience?
Yeah, we have to go back to that, right? Um,
Yeah.
so we started
So,
from, well, the first idea was like we have all the things on YouTube.
mhm. And I think that's the first thing, to be honest. Like, like the first thing that we did, I think unconsciously, like I remember having this, when we started doing one of the first time, we said like, should we upload this, or should we have this conversation of like if we should edit it before uploading. And I guess so that would be like the linear way of do something
Mm,
with the art, like, will be like, okay, we did this performance, live performance, we did this practice, we did this that we don't know what is, but it's now in the form of a video. um let's what we could do is then maybe put some titles at the beginning, introduction, and even perhaps editing.
whoa, oh, it's like
But
a Labor Day thingy. I don't know. like a huge explosion, and the windows were like shaking.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like a rocket that you saw or something.
Yeah, but I
They're like,
guess
wow,
it
they're
it was
attacking
the
Germany
clouds.
now. Fuck, they're attacking Germany.
Wow,
Oh,
it was super loud.
never they. Fuck. So yeah, so I guess we did this like we from the first moment. So rather than following the linear process of editing and then uploading something that we like, because I think that's important also to underline that in that process you edit towards you will try to say something. That's the purpose of editing. You will edit it to your liking, right? That's why editing processes are so complex to do, especially when you are with more than one person. I don't know if you have any process with more than one person of editing videos, and they are very, very demanding because it's trying to put an abstract, especially when you don't have clear what it's about the thing. When it's something that is abstract, so let's say artwork, it is very consuming because you have to agree in something that is not clear between two for something that it has to have a shape. So yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So anyway, so we did disobey this linear idea of presenting visual content or video content or video art content. So we disobey the editing part, and then we just said, you know what? Let's just put it online.
right.
Also, it was as response because we knew from our backgrounds that there is not too much information in the threshold that we were interested.
Mm. You mean like between us or like?
No, like no, the dance and technology, dance and live
Ah,
coding. I
okay.
mean, what we're doing like projects of video content online in similar topics, how to dance in front of a camera. And at that moment, that
Mm,
was fundamental because there was just COVID happening.
yeah, 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 true.
So we started disobedient from the beginning. That was a disobedient, like I mean, in terms of like not following, not trying to do something good.
Right. Yeah. And also like
And
in a
then
way that like to add to what you were saying about this like linear way of narrative, it's also like disobedient to like what they expect, like the platforms like YouTube wouldn't, or not expect, but like they wouldn't prioritize what we do, right? It's not something
they
they would
what?
promote. They wouldn't promote things like what we do. if we if we want to promote it, we should edit it to, like 10 minutes or like at least like 30 minutes,
Now,
and with like nice editing, um I don't know, subtitles and all these things, which we don't do, which is also interesting.
capitalize.
Although we are in that ecosystem in a way.
Yeah, but I mean, we are not. We did not try to do something like to use the framework like the best
Right.
practices on how to capitalize
Yeah.
that. We did though with Google at some point we were trying to populate and we spoke on this like and
Ah,
to
yeah.
pollute and this idea of
Yeah.
pollute the search engine.
True.
Yeah, and polluting. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the word for that? Optimize? No. No. Or not OEM. Oh.
Search engine optimization. I think it's SEO, no,
SEO. Yeah. SEO. Yeah.
search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that was part of like then we start at some point then the hashtag appear. That was on this
Mm,
through this like inside jokes and stuff like oh okay there was it this hashtag appear also as I mean, partly because of the situated relation, I mean, or information, like me working at that moment in best practice in coding, and then working with dance, but also this uh CEO process.
No. Oh wow, it's already 10 minutes left. Yeah,
When is it? This deadline?
15th, right?
15. Okay. Let's come back together if you can. I don't know how's your time this week. And then try to be more concrete. And I think today I am happy with the session. We have
Yeah.
a good I mean we have
So
at least we start this uh archiving thing with YouTube and from where it comes
yeah,
from.
but I think
I think it's very important.
yeah, like the direction, like maybe not exactly like a handbook, but or like workshop, but something that like I think like honest approach would be good. Like, we try to like understand ourselves and then like just think about what others can also, I mean, what we can suggest from our what we've been doing. I mean, like basically like extending this conversation into the proposal would make sense, I think, instead of like making something
So,
new from
so,
this.
so proposing best practices in best practices.
Best practices, best practices. Could be
Yes, I
interesting.
think it's going in that direction. Best practices in best practices.
Yeah. So in terms of uh, my schedule, I think it would be so this week I'm a bit stressed until like for the next 7 days I'll be a bit stressed, but I think it's good we do like one or two chats and then the week after we can, write the proposal somehow.
Yeah.
Just to keep the
That's
conversation going and
yeah,
then
yeah. It's okay. Like I have to go to. I mean, I have to deal with other things at the same time. But I'm in Belgium, so it should be
yeah,
possible.
yeah.
And I'm going to Paris to ICEA the 16th, so which is one day before
Oh, already.
the.
Okay.
When is the when is the deadline of this? Is 15, right?
15. But there's like also Modena, which is like 24th, I think.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. That's what I guess my head is a bit like that because those days I guess I
Mm,
won't have time to really work. So we
right.
have to see
Okay.
how to make it work to be practical.
I see. But like the week after, like from the 9th, I will be more
On
available.
um yeah,
Like next
and
week,
then
basically.
next week. Yeah, but I have to other things. I'm doing other things at the same
Yeah.
time.
I mean, so
Mhm.
it's like a question of like, like should we, I mean, we haven't done like writing together practice so much. So lately, so that would be nice. But also maybe we could, say one of the proposals we try to write together, and one of them like, for example, I do 80%, and we come back together. That's also
Mhm.
possible.
I mean, I think what we have to, what I think is could be useful is that if since we having this, I mean, I think these conversations are going are like in this context, for instance, it works very well. At some point, if depending of the time, then we can propose perhaps that you present some shabloon because I think you're fast in that process, like some like maybe kind of like a bullet point something, and then we can go in that more detail on how to make it something that is a together process
Yeah.
from something concrete. Then we
Right.
don't deviate too much since we don't have too much time.
Right.
Um, yeah. Um, yeah. So just when so you so yeah so what when you're proposing to meet more or less? I mean, like
Uh,
so this week is
I mean, this week,
it
maybe not Tuesday, tomorrow, not tomorrow, but from Wednesday to say between Wednesday and Friday would be good, like to talk again.
yeah Wednesday gonna pass. We'll see. I think wait, for me will work. I'm going to APAS. Chronology, clear. What is this bio mode? I don't have to. This is clear modeling. That Thursday could work for me.
Okay, let's try that. I mean, I can do it anytime Thursday.
Yeah, horse. Yeah, I think Thursday could work for me. Like
Okay,
not at 1, but like in the morning could work, like 11 could work for me.
11. Yeah, let's try that.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Patience. Yes. All right. Cool. When are you presenting? Then
On 8th
in
at Pact
oh,
8th.
okay.
But tomorrow I
Yeah,
do
and
like a demo version at the school.
for the school. Impact.
Yeah, at the
Okay.
school I will do something like a rehearsal, but I don't have anything yet. So not anything, but I haven't really
Okay.
finished what I wanted to do. So it's going to be, but anyways, it's improvisation, so it's fine.
Okay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
So this
But
I upload or no?
yeah, I mean I'm fine. I think we
Yeah,
didn't say
I
this is
think it's
like two
nice.
people watching this. So for the two
Yeah.
of you who are following this, I mean perhaps Lily is watching. Like Lily, it's fine.
Yeah, sorry, I've been missing your meetups. I will try to catch when I have time because she's organizing the residency. No,
But you will
the
see,
meetup for the residents.
but you will meet up. You will meet her next week, no? I mean,
Oh,
probably in Essen. She will come.
I
She told me she was coming.
yeah, okay.
She
I'll
probably
send
will come.
like
I think.
a invitation to her then. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think she probably was planning to come anyway. At some point, we
Okay.
crossed some messages, and then I
Ah,
think she
okay,
was planning to
cool.
come. All right,
So thank you
keep
for
in touch. And
watching.
then
Really,
otherwise, but yes, thank you
thank
for
you for
watching. For the rest
really.
audience, for the rest audience, thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Now I'll see you otherwise on Thursday at 11.
Yeah, cool. That's a weird
Ciao, mate.
YouTube video. Ciao.
Yeah, I know.